Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, May 18th, 2019. This is episode 1592. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Clear. Clear uses your eyes and your fingertips instead of traditional ID documents to get you through security faster at airports and stadiums. Get your first 2 months free at clearme.com/techguy. Don't forget to use the promo code TechGuy. And by DigitalOcean. Deploy and scale your apps seamlessly at the simplest cloud platform ever. Join over 150,000 businesses that use DigitalOcean. Sign up today and receive a free $100 credit at do.co/twit. And by Capterra. Find the right tools to make an informed software decision for your business. Visit Capterra's free website at capterra.com/techguy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk all that techie stuff. Computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, augmented reality, virtual reality. Say it with me, real reality. If you want to talk high tech, you come to the right place. Website is techguylabs.com. And I say that because I know as you're driving around, we might talk about something. You go, I want to make a note of that. I don't want you stopping or writing while you're driving or anything. Just remember this now. The website is free. It's there's no sign up. It's called techguylabs.com. Techguy, that's me, labs.com. And if you hear anything or want to know more or want to leave a comment, you can do that too. It's always there and it's always free and there's no sign up. And we like you to use that because that way I don't want you to get in an accident, if you know what I mean. Some very good news from the FCC. Ajit Pai, the chairman of the FCC, they've been trying desperately to figure out a way to handle this robocall thing. It's estimated that more than half of all the phone calls coming to your phone, in some cases as much as 90% of all the phone calls coming to your smartphone, are robocalls. They're not real people calling you, even though their phone number might look like somebody you know, somebody from your area code, even from your neighborhood. They're not. And they're robocalls because it's really cheap for them to make those calls with automated machinery. That's why it's not a real person on the other end. And they don't really care if they don't, get a lot of hits because it costs them so little to make the call. Even if 1 in 1,000 people bite, it's profitable. It's been very difficult. Most robocallers are out of the country. There have been prosecutions of robocall companies in India and here in the United States, but it has not done anything to slow robocalls down. The FCC has announced they're going to vote on a new measure that would allow carriers to automatically register you, the customer, for call blocking technology. Automatically. The difference is you can call the phone company now on your cell phone and say, I don't want to get a call from this person or that person. But what would happen with this new rule, and the vote's coming up June 6th, so I don't know. Can you write? Are they asking for comments? I don't know. Write to a FCC commissioner saying, pass this. It would allow, this is a solution somebody mentioned, I think, last weekend. It would allow you to block calls coming from a phone number that's not on your contact list. So you'd only calls that you would even see on your phone are from people you know. Now, there is a potential problem because I've mentioned this before. My doctor, for some reason, probably privacy reasons, uses a blocked number. He doesn't call from an identifiable number. So I can't add him to my contact list. I wouldn't hear his call. I guess it'd go to voicemail. He could leave a message and I can call him back. So it's not the end of the world. But what do you think? I like this idea. Chairman Ajit Pai said allowing call blocking by default could be a big benefit for customers who are sick and tired of robocalls. Say it with me. I'm mad as heck and I'm not going to take it anymore. By making it clear that such call blocking is allowed, the FCC will give voice service providers the legal certainty they need to block unwanted calls from the outset so that consumers never have to get them. 48 billion robocalls in the U.S. last year alone. 48 billion. Holy cow. So Anyway, that's a little bit of good news. I was happy to hear from the FCC on that one. Study by localbabysitter.com. It's an unexpected benefit of Netflix. There's a lot of kids programming on Netflix, unlike the television and unlike YouTube even. There's no ads on the kids programming on Netflix. Local Babysitter did the math. A study conducted by the University of Michigan found that kids from the age of 2 to 5 spend an average of 32 hours a week watching TV. Whoa. 6 to 11, 28 hours a week. 1,600 hours a year watching television. And with a little calculation, they were able to figure out if those kids, instead of watching broadcast television, watch Netflix, that's up to 400 hours of commercials a year they won't see. 400 hours of commercials a year they won't see. I mentioned this to a friend of mine who's I think her kid's 8 or 9 now. They didn't have a TV for a long time. She watched YouTube. She watched Netflix. She says, when we go to the grocery store, I never have to worry about my daughter asking for sugary cereals. Mommy, buy this, Mommy. I want some cat, because she's never seen the ads. Okay. Stacy did tell me, though, that she likes Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So that's the grown-ups, the adults do. So I guess that's what they get. If you bought a Pixel phone, the original, the OG, as we say, Pixel phone, and you had trouble with the microphone, Google admits, yeah, we had defective microphones, and they have agreed to a settlement, a class action lawsuit by owners of the original Google Pixel. They could pay up to $500 to some Pixel owners for a total settlement of $7.25 million, which, by the way, tells you how few Pixel phones they sold. If you bought a Pixel or Pixel XL device manufactured before January 4th, 2017, the first few months of the Pixel phone, and you had problems with your microphone, Google says less than 1%, fewer than 1%, I believe that should be, of Pixel phones had a hairline crack in the soldering on the audio chip that caused issues with calling. If you had one of those phones, they'll give you some money, like what you paid for it practically. That's good. And even if you didn't have a problem with your Pixel phone, you could get up to $20 from the settlement. Stay tuned to this channel because right now the form that you would fill out to try to get your money is not up. But once the judge approves the settlement, it will be. Do patch Windows. You do. You listen to this show, you know that when there's a Windows update, the second Tuesday of every month, and if there's other times, you should do it too. You always run those patches, right? You might have also remembered that some years ago I said, but stop worrying about Windows XP because Microsoft's not going to patch it anymore. Sorry. In fact, you shouldn't probably be using XP. Certainly shouldn't be using it on the internet. That's almost a guarantee you'll get infected with something. Turns out there's a nasty bug spreading using remote desktop services. It exists only in Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows Server 2003, 2008 R2, and 2008. Yes, it's a bug that affects Windows XP, and Microsoft, even though they said we're not going to patch XP anymore, is. But you have to go get it. You have to go to the update catalog. I'll put a link in the show notes, techguylabs.com. If you're on XP, briefly put it online, go to the update catalog and download this patch because it is nasty. It's what they call pre-authentication. You don't have to be logged in. It doesn't require any interaction. Basically, anybody can go through the network, get to your computer, and infect you. And it can infect you with a variety of things, including malware like ransomware. And if you had just one Windows XP machine on your network that you accidentally let online, it could then bring down the rest of the entire network. So fix that. And by the way, as long as I'm talking about that, update WhatsApp. WhatsApp had a nasty bug last weekend. They fixed it on Monday that would allow a bad guy to call your WhatsApp number even if you didn't pick up and infect your phone. So update WhatsApp. A couple of stories capturing my eye this week. We're going to get to your phone calls in just a little bit. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. And I think it'd be a good time to take some calls here. Let's start things off. Kim Schaffer's lined them all up for me. And I think Mark in Los Angeles is the first. Hey, Mark, Leo Laporte.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking the call.
My pleasure.
I have a question about using public Wi-Fi and how safe it is. And because I do a lot of stopping in at Starbucks and other coffee places or public libraries to upload photos for my job. And friends tell me, "Oh, you shouldn't use public Wi-Fi. That's dangerous." And I'm just wondering if that's really true, or they just heard a story from somebody.
Well, it's true and it's not true. It's as with everything, it's complicated. I'll try to simplify it. The risk is when you're on a shared network, and you are when you're on an open Wi-Fi, even if you had to enter a password, it's a shared network. Everybody else in that coffee shop is on the same network as you. That means they can see you. Same thing when sometimes I'll go to a hotel and I'll fire up my computer. I'm on the hotel's network and I can see a bunch of other people sharing music, sharing files. I can see other people's computers on there.
What does that mean you can see them?
Well, they show up in my file sharing browser.
And how does it show you what they're doing?
Well, the truth is, it doesn't matter what you can see, because if a person's malevolent, a bad guy, they're going to use a special tool anyway. There's a tool very commonly used by hackers called a Wi-Fi pineapple that can sit on an open Wi-Fi network, or not even an open one, but a public Wi-Fi network, and sniff out stuff. Now, how dangerous could this be? Well, here's the potential risk. Most of the time for instance, when you're uploading photos, I bet you're on an encrypted connection, an HTTPS connection.
Right.
In fact, most of the time now when we surf the net, we're on HTTPS. When you're logging into your email, when you're buying something using a credit card, almost every case. In fact, Google's been pushing hard to do something called HTTPS everywhere, secure web everywhere. And I think in the next few years, there's going to be very few sites that aren't HTTPS. Those are invisible to the bad guy, even if he has a Wi-Fi pineapple. He can see where you're going because you're on a radio network. Your data is traveling around, but the data itself is encrypted. Really important. If in the older days, a few years ago, a lot of email services, for instance, didn't encrypt the password. I remember going on a cruise ship. It was a geek cruise, so there were a bunch of geeks on it, including one guy I love, good friend, named Randall Schwartz. He was a kind of a white hat hacker. And day one, we're on the ship. I'm talking to some people. He comes up and whispers. No, I think he handed me a piece of paper that said, "Your email password is," and it had my email password on it. He said, "You might want to change it." And I said, "Randall, how'd you get that?" He said, "Well, it's not encrypted. You're on the ship's Wi-Fi. You're sending it around through the air. Anybody can see it. Anybody with the means and the desire can see it." Those days are pretty much gone. You check your email. The worst thing that could happen is somebody gets your email password. That's a disaster. If somebody gets your email password, you can kind of walk your way through the scenario. First of all, he can check your email without you even knowing. So you may never change your email password, and he may always have access to it. And anytime he wants access to something else, he just goes to that site and says, "Here's my email address, but I forgot the password," and sends an email reset, in effect, to himself. Right. So he's got full access to everything. So that's the keys to the kingdom. You don't want that unencrypted. If all that stuff is encrypted, which it is mostly nowadays, he can't get into it. But with a Wi-Fi pineapple, there are some other bad things he can get up to. Here's like a worst case scenario. And this, I don't know of this happening very often. But with this Wi-Fi pineapple, he can see on your machine, in some cases, he can see other Wi-Fi access points you've joined. Just a list of them. Now you say, well, what's the big deal? Well, he can pick one of them, like your home, Wi-Fi, and impersonate that with the Wi-Fi pineapple. Your machine, as most machines are, your Wi-Fi is promiscuous. As soon as it sees a stronger signal, it's going to join it. And if it's your home Wi-Fi, it's going to join it without it's already a member. Oh, I know this. Yeah, it's fine. And at that point, he can do something called a man-in-the-middle attack. He can actually be in the middle of all your internet traffic, which means the encryption's useless. So there is, in theory, a scenario. Now, in my opinion, most of the time that you're on public Wi-Fi, you're using secure sites. You're keep an eye, make sure you stay on that particular Wi-Fi, that suddenly you don't appear to be on your home Wi-Fi, I think you're probably fine. If you want to protect it, if you want to be extra careful, if you happen to work for a 3-letter government agency, let's say, and you're at the Starbucks, then you would use a VPN. That's an additional layer of security that encrypts the data from your computer to the outside world. So anybody who's observing it only sees a garbly bunch of numbers and letters, can't see anything else. And in fact, the device I use even turns off your Wi-Fi. It connects to your computer via Ethernet. It has its own Wi-Fi radio in it, so it picks up the Wi-Fi from the Starbucks and passes it to me through a wire, and I turn off my Wi-Fi. Now I'm really impervious. But that's like if you're really paranoid.
Yeah.
I think in most cases, I'd be honest with you, I have a VPN. I have this special tiny hardware firewall. I don't usually turn it on. If I'm going to be in a hotel or a cruise ship for any length of time, I might set it up so that I just join that and then I don't have to think about it. But if I'm just running in and using Wi-Fi, I usually don't do anything.
Does a VPN slow things down?
Yeah, there's a little, depending on the VPN, there's a little overhead because essentially the way a VPN works is you're going to the VPN server, which is somewhere else, and then going out onto the internet. So there's an extra hop in your connection. Potentially, if it depends on how good a VPN provider you have, but potentially that can slow things down. A good one, usually that means a paid one, shouldn't affect you at all. I wouldn't worry too much, to be honest. I don't worry too much. Unless you're a target, the days where it used to be a real problem. It used to be, there was a hacker program called Firesheep they could use to, sitting in a coffee shop next to you, log into your Facebook and leave messages on your stream, stuff like that. But that's when Facebook went HTTPS and blocked that attack completely. So nowadays, I think pretty much it's safe. If you worked for a 3-letter agency or a big company and you were using company hardware, they'd probably make you use a VPN for that reason.
Yeah. Well, what about SMS messages, text messages?
Well, that's another matter entirely. It is not considered a secure way to do two-factor authentication, for instance, because it's not too difficult for a bad guy to impersonate your phone and receive your text messages. You should not assume that text messages are secure. If you want secure messaging, use Apple's Messages or WhatsApp or some other messaging system. The best one is Signal. Problem is you have to get everybody else to use it too. But those are really, truly secure. It's like HTTPS. That's encrypted from your computer to theirs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the phrase is end-to-end encryption. That's the only truly safe thing, end-to-end encryption. But that's not, not easy to achieve. SMS is fine for insecure communications, but not for secure communications. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hello, Scott.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
Our home theater guru. He is also at techhive.com, and he joins us every week. You have a listener question.
I do, from Jorge, who says he's new to 4K, upgraded TVs a couple of years ago, has a Pioneer Elite Atmos setup for the sound. He says DirecTV has little programming with little to none, no programming in 4K, but even that doesn't quite work. He doesn't think he has the sound connected correctly. For example, when he watches Netflix, only the TV speakers will work. So he's been messing around with, digital audio cables.
I've seen this before too. This is very annoying.
Yes. Will HDMI cables work? He asks. Maybe use both outs of the receiver. Well,
is he using the Netflix built into the TV? I bet he is.
I have to assume so. Yes.
Yeah. So he needs the ARC port.
Correct. Or the optical output from the TV.
Right.
Going back to the receiver. But I think HDMI ARC is going to be a better solution.
That stands for audio return channel?
For audio return channel.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So basically you have it set up like this. You have your source devices hooked into your receiver, your AV receiver by HDMI, and you've got an HDMI cable going from the receiver to one of the TV's inputs. Now, to use this ARC or audio return channel, you really need to connect the output of the receiver to the input on the TV that is labeled ARC. because only one of the inputs typically on most TVs have this function. And what it does is it takes audio from the TV itself, so the internal apps, the Netflix app on the TV or the TV's internal over-the-air tuner, it sends that audio back along the same cable that is normally sending signals to the TV, but instead it's sending it back to the receiver saying, here's some audio from the TV, use this. So the best solution, I think, will be, I don't know which receiver he has, but if he's only had TVs for a couple of years and they're 4K, undoubtedly they have the ARC capability. So take an HDMI cable, take it from the output of the receiver to the ARC input on the TV. And there's one of them there, and it'll be labeled, typically with ARC. Makes sense. So that way, when you're watching Netflix with the internal app of the TV, the audio for that programming will get sent back along that HDMI cable to the receiver, and the sound will come out of your Pioneer Elite Atmos speakers, which will sound a whole heck of a lot better than the sound coming from your TV speakers. So,
this is, by the way, why on my Hisense TV, which has all of those things built in, Netflix with those smart TVs, I never use it. I use an external Roku, an external Apple TV, and it's a lot simpler.
Yep, I totally agree with you. And they're not that expensive, those little streamers.
No, and frankly, the software's better usually on these external boxes. It runs faster. Correct. It's more up to date.
Yep.
It just seems easier.
Yeah, it really is. So I recommend, sure, it's another $100, but if you spend that and you get a Roku Ultimate, or I think it's called the Roku Ultra.
Ultra, yes. Ultra, that's the 4K Roku. That's the downside. Roku. Well, welcome to the world of 4K. You now have to upgrade everything. The only reason
got the TV for it.
Yeah, the only reason though to use the onboard TV apps is because they're 4K.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and we have to. I have to assume that his receiver is also capable of passing.
Well, that's another one. Yep.
4K and high dynamic range.
Yep.
From a device like the Roku Ultra through and on to the TV. If it can't, if it's an older receiver, then you're kind of stuck using the app inside the TV.
Or as I say, welcome to the upgrade cascade.
The upgrade cascade. I hadn't heard that one.
You start with one device,
a
new 4K TV, and then suddenly you realize you have to upgrade everything underneath it to 4K to use it.
I call it upgrade-itis. And it's
but mine rhymes. That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying.
It happened to me because I got a nice 4K TV, and I suddenly realized, oh no, I got to get a new AV receiver. I got to get a new Roku. I got to get a new Apple TV. The good news is, especially with Apple TV, if you've bought stuff, movies and TV shows on Apple before, they will automatically be upgraded if it's available to 4K HDR, which is great.
Isn't that super cool?
I
think that's great.
Yeah.
Yes. So you bought an HD version of this or that, and it comes out in 4K HDR. Boom, you got access to it. You already paid for it, and they'll upgrade you for free. That's really awesome.
Now, here's one other issue. Marsworm in the chat room is saying the SmartCast apps on the Vizio SmartCast 4K TV aren't 4K apps. They are not.
Really? Oh, I didn't realize
that is terrible.
It is terrible. I've got to. I tell you, Marsworm, thank you for that alert. I will.
I would verify
Vizio
it
and say, well, are you kidding me? Really?
You know why? Because they don't. I bet they don't have a fast enough processor on the TV.
Well, that might be. Those TVs are
They're
real
budget.
bargains.
Yeah, you save money by putting less processor, less RAM, less.
That may be.
Yeah.
That may be. I actually will be visiting Vizio soon to see their 2019 lineup of products.
Oh, exciting.
And when I'm there, I will ask them that very specific questions. So thank you very much for alerting me.
It's another bullet point when you're buying a 4K TV. If you intend to use the smart TV apps on that new TV, make sure that they are 4K HDR.
Right.
Because they may not be, apparently, which kind of surprises me.
It surprises the heck out of me, too. Yeah, right.
Does anybody, and you can ask maybe you can ask Vizio this.
Yes.
Why don't they just make a dumb monitor so I can buy the external boxes and do all of that stuff? They could save money.
They could.
Charge me less.
Yeah. I'm totally behind that. The last iteration of the Pioneer Kuro Plasma, you remember that?
Mm-hmm. I still have one in the studio.
I do too.
Yeah.
I have one in my theater. I don't use it much anymore.
Yeah, they stopped making it, but boy, is it a good TV.
It's a great TV. The last iteration, I think it was called the 9G version, 9th generation, they made a monitor only. It had no speakers.
Perfect.
It had no tuner.
Perfect.
It was just a monitor. And I really, really wish more TV companies would do that, at least as an option.
Here's my thinking is I don't want to use slow, out-of-date smart apps on the TV because they don't keep them up to date. They are necessarily slower because you don't have the processor power. I would far prefer just to have a really great screen. You could put upscalers in there. You could put some of that circuitry in. But
and a 4K TV really needs good upscalers.
Got to have that because you send it a 1080p signal, it's going to look terrible in 4K.
If it's not upscaled well, yeah.
But I would just as soon buy a Roku Ultra.
Exactly.
Externalize all the smart apps because then I know it's going to get updated. I can upgrade it easily and inexpensively myself.
Yep. You're never going to upgrade the processor in the TV.
No.
Yeah. That's never going to happen.
There's one more thing. And this, I don't know if you ever addressed this. Modern TVs are a privacy nightmare.
Because of the camera on them?
The camera, the microphone. If you're connecting your TV directly to the internet, almost certainly it is sharing information about what you watch back to the manufacturer who then sells it on. So another good reason not to have smart apps on the TV, or at least not to use them, connect your Roku to the internet, not your TV.
Exactly. I agree completely. I'm a big privacy nut on that score as well. So anything I can do to avoid giving them more information than necessary, I will do.
Scott Wilkinson, TechHive.com. He's our home theater geek each and every week. Thank you, Scotty.
Bet.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Back to the phones we go. And let's see on line one, Jeff in Pasadena, California. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Leo. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for your patience.
Yeah, so I have an older iMac, and it's running 10.9. And things are starting to not work. Programs are starting to upgrade and saying, hey, you need to upgrade your operating system. Well, my iMac won't upgrade anymore. I'm like, it's done.
Oh.
So it's kind of annoying that they do that. So I'm like, I got to go buy a new one, and I'm debating to either get a new iMac or maybe get the Mac Mini.
I'm really a fan of the new Mac Minis. They're
pretty cool.
The advantage of it, an iMac is what we call an all-in-one. So the screen, the processor, the motherboard, they're all in one case. And the disadvantage of that is that's your screen. You can't choose a different one. You can't get a bigger one. If something breaks, the whole unit has to go in. You get a Mac Mini, your computer is separate, and it's fairly compact. You can get a different size screen. You can get any configuration you want. If the screen dies, you get a new one. If the Mini dies, you bring that in, not the whole thing. I also think you save a little bit of money. And honestly, the new Mac Minis, not the old ones, the new ones are pretty nice. They have a number of features that I think make them pretty desirable. Many, many connectors on the back, including with Thunderbolt 3, the ability to run an external GPU. So in some ways, they're more upgradable than the iMacs. The iMacs are elegant. They come with very nice screens. The Minis are more flexible, and I think, honestly, going to be more affordable because you can beef up that Mini and then get a less expensive screen. Apple screens are pretty expensive.
I like the fact that I can run two monitors off of that Mini as well.
Well, you can do that with an iMac as well. I run actually a 3-monitor setup. The iMac's in the middle, and I've got 2 monitors on left and right. And you can do that with the Mac Mini. It's easier, even easier. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I would also have to get a camera for it because I Skype like pretty much every day.
Well, and that's the other thing. The camera that comes on the iMac, that's the one you would use. But if you want, you could get a better one. Those aren't the best cameras out there. You can get a better one from Logitech and put it on top of it. Or you don't even get one. Better? Yeah, Logitech is better. I can't remember if the iMacs are 720p still. I think they are, in which case, you can get a 1080 camera, much higher resolution.
and it's more unlikely that the Mac Mini would get stolen.
Yeah, it's not as attractive.
Yeah, nobody would even know what it is, or
Yeah.
it wouldn't even have to be out in the open necessarily.
Yeah, and it's portable.
I've been through that once.
If you're going somewhere, you could throw it in a briefcase. Somebody will have to have a keyboard, mouse, and monitor for you to use, but it uses standard HDMI monitors, so it's pretty portable.
Yeah, and I've got a keyboard, I've got a mouse. The only thing I would need if I got the Mini, I would just need a couple of monitors and then a camera.
Right. If I were buying a computer today, that's what I would do. I would not get an iMac.
Good, Leo.
Yeah.
Okay, then
Good.
That's the way I'm going to go.
Enjoy.
Thanks.
They did it. Finally updated the Mac Mini after 4 years, and I think they did a pretty good job. Now, remember, June is a month off. That means WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference, is it's actually less than a month. It's June 7th, so it's 3 weeks off. So it's very possible, or 2 weeks, whatever that is. My math is not good. Date math is tough. Not far off, and it is possible. In fact, you might even say it's likely that they'll announce new Mac options during WWDC. It's their developers conference, which means, developers for the Apple ecosystem use Macs. Some developers are very interested. And in the past, Apple has announced new Macs. June 7th may well, if you could wait till June 8th, I might be prudent. Never buy an Apple product with days before the Apple event. An Apple event. Usually that means something's going to be announced. It may not be though. I'm not hearing any drum beats about new hardware. For a while, there were strong rumors there'd be a new Apple laptops. Didn't happen. Let's say hi to Al in Irvine. Thanks for hanging on, Al. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Al, Leo, how's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
Doing well. I don't have necessarily a tech question, but I needed some advice from you. I just recently moved back from to California.
Congratulations. Welcome home.
Thank you. The weather is much better than Chicago.
Oh, gosh, yeah. And Irvine's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's amazing. It's beautiful. And you've probably heard that the tech industry out here in Irvine is blowing up. There are so many corporate offices here now.
Oh, yeah.
And I had, for the past 5 years in Chicago, I ran my own business, fitness business out there. But, I'm back here in California, and I'm wanting to reapply to get back into management. And it looks like everybody has to have some kind of engineering certificate, CCNA or something.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, and it just even for management, and
because if you're managing a technical product, they want to know you have the technical chops to understand that product. I can understand that. It's going to be tough though if you have no experience. You're going to have to convince somebody that you've got something else that's going to make them want you, which I'm sure you do. Are you thinking of acquiring the technical skills? Do you want to go to school?
Yeah, that's one of the questions I want to ask you. I do have a background in tech as far as hardware.
Oh, good.
I used to be a technician for Sharp Electronics.
Oh, good.
And Samsung.
Okay, that's a good start.
The coding part and all the engineers, like I have talked to a couple of my friends who are project managers out here for a couple of the other tech companies. And, most of them are pretty much started out just like me, where they don't know much about coding at all.
Right.
But obviously people like me, we have the people skills as far as management goes.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, if I'm hiring,
what you would recommend?
I'm more interested. You can find code monkeys all over the place. A lot harder. The soft skills is a lot harder to find somebody with great soft skills. So it just depends on how much coding they want you to know. You're not going to compete against somebody with a CS, a computer science degree. You're not going to compete against somebody who's got years in the business, but you can learn how to code. I mean, it depends on how soon you want to get that job. If you're willing to take a few years to learn to code and get a basic coding job that gives you some experience, well, maybe. Here's what I would look at. There's a company called Udacity, Udacity. And they offer something called nano degrees. And they started doing this in conjunction with Google. They have a whole school of programming. It's all online. So there's no classes to sit down to. I think that's perhaps a little faster. You could probably find free stuff at the, local community college. But you'd have to sit and go every week and all that stuff. The stuff that's online, you can do at your own pace. And if you're motivated and smart and quick, you can do it a lot faster. They have nano degrees in, there's one starting this month in Introduction to Programming, Front-End Web Developer. These aren't like real degrees. They're not like, I went to UC Irvine. But they are recognized. A lot of tech companies understand them, and this is a well-known one, Udacity, UDACITY. They're not free, but they're not horribly expensive. And I think because Google kind of gave them the seal of approval, I think that's a good place to start. You get a piece of paper, in other words. There are other places to go. I mean, there are lots of online courses. I've taken programming courses from EDX. EDX, it was created by Harvard and MIT to put their courses online. I actually took a course from the University of British Columbia. Loved it. Great programming course. So there's options all over the place. There's even free options. EDX is free, but if you want to, and this is often the case, if you want a certificate that you could put on your LinkedIn or your resume, they charge $100 or something. It's not very expensive. So all of these are, I think, out there. There are a lot of choices out there. It really is going to depend very much on what the expectations are in the job you want, and whether they say, well, he's got to have real world experience or not. You certainly can learn how to program online these days. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. We'll have more of the Tech Guy Show in just a little bit, but first I want to welcome a brand new sponsor to the podcast, but a company I've used before and I really like. Maybe you've seen the Clear kiosks at the airport. Now you're seeing them at stadiums and other venues. Clear is a really cool idea, identifying you with your eyes, your fingertips, your fingerprints, and your irises, biometrics, instead of traditional ID documents. And what that means is you get through security faster at the airport, at stadiums, at other public venues. Clear gets you through security with a tap of a finger so you can get to your gate faster, reduce pre-flight stress. No need to whip out your driver's license, your real ID, your passport. You're the best ID out there. Biometrics the best way to identify you, and Clear makes it really easy and fast. It's also easy to sign up. Create your online account before you go to the airport. Once you get to the airport, a Clear ambassador, and they're nice people, by the way, I really like them, will help you finish the process so you don't have to figure it out or guess. And then you can immediately use Clear, like the first time. They also have family plans. In fact, we did this with our 16-year-old. He gets in free, kids under 18 free. And if you're traveling with your family, you don't want to be just going through the line by yourself. You want to add you can add up to 3 adult family members at a discounted rate. So that's nice. So Lisa and Michael both get through with my Clear account. Clear helps you get through the security faster at 40-plus airports and stadiums across the country, and they're adding more every day. You've seen those Clear kiosks as you go to the airport, perhaps with some envy as you wait and wait and wait to get through security. Next time, get Clear. If you are listening to this podcast, you can get your first 2 months free. Go to clearme.com/techguy. Don't forget to use the promo code techguy. That way they know you heard it here. That helps me. And you'll get a pretty good deal. 2 months free. ClearMe, ClearMe.com/techguy. And the promo code is techguy for your 2 free months of Clear. We thank Clear for their support of the Tech Guy podcast. Zip. That's the Clear sound. Zip. Hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, programming languages, operating systems like Mac and Windows and Linux, anything with a chip in it, anything with technology. I love to talk about it. Don't forget there is a website. I think people sometimes are trying to take notes while they're driving. Please don't. Please don't. It's dangerous. But remember, everything I say, all the links, everything we talk about are stored and saved for your benefit at techguylabs.com. There's a page for every show. This is episode 1592. Each show is divided into each hour into questions or segments. You could read the questions, read my answer, but you click the links, but you can also listen and watch because after the fact we put audio and video there. And there's even a section on every question for your comments. So if you're listening and you go, Leo, you're wrong, or I've got a better idea, or what about this? You don't have to shout at the radio. Just put it on the website, and it's free. No sign up. Just go to techguylabs.com. Let's get back to the phones. Hello, Jade in Santa Monica. Sorry to keep you waiting. Thank you for your patience.
Oh, that's okay, Leo. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. I had a couple of questions for you.
Well, I'm here.
Great. Thank you so much. Actually, I'm not able to get out to go to the Apple store because I'm kind of immobilized right now. So
Okay.
I'm stuck at home. And a couple of the questions I had, the first one I had was I keep getting this message from Google about my Gmail account, and the message says, security alert, someone is trying to use your password to open your Gmail account.
Yeah, and it will say a location at the same time, won't it?
No, it just says security alert, and then it just gives part of an email message.
But it doesn't say an IP address or a location or anything like that. It doesn't give you any information about who's trying to use your account.
No, nothing.
Well, it's probably spam or a scam.
That's really weird because just in the subject it just says security alert, and then in the message part it just gives part of a message.
So does it invite you to log into your account through that email?
No.
It's just a warning.
Yeah. It says security alert. Someone has been trying to open your...
Right. Well, first of all, remember, Jade, you should never assume that an email comes from the person the email says it comes from. It's very easy to fake that.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
So
I didn't give my password to anybody.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a bad idea. It would be prudent to change your password when you get an email like that, in case it really is from Google. Whatever you do, if you get an email like that and it says click here or fill out this form, if it asks you to interact with the email in any way, do not.
No, I didn't ask for anything. So to change my password, I have to go into my account?
Yeah, you just go into your account. So does it say sign-in attempt was blocked? Is that what it says?
It says someone tried to use your password to get into your account.
Google does send out warnings. If, for instance, sometimes you'll see a warning, I've seen it, that says a foreign entity, a foreign agent is trying to break into your account. That's real. John just showed me an email he got that said somebody new is trying to use your account. But so those are warnings, but not necessarily anything to get, set your hair on fire about. I think if you see, sign-in attempt was blocked. Yeah, but if you see a button, do not click the button in the email. This is how people would get you. If I were a bad guy and I were trying to steal Jade's stuff, her email account's the first place I'd go because, if you try to log into something else, and you forget your password, you can say, email me a new password, right? Well, if somebody's got your email account, they can do that too. Yeah. So that's the first place a bad guy's going to go to try to get your stuff. Try to break into your Gmail. So one way they would get to you is by sending you something that looked like it came from Google and had a button on it or a form on it that said, log into your account here or fill out your password here. Never interact with emails like that because those are often malware. If you do get an email like that, you can go to your browser, go to your Gmail account as normal. Type in the address. Don't click a link, but type in the address as normal. And then if you want to change your password, you can do that in the settings. There's another thing everybody who has a Google account should do. It's a little more complicated, but turn on two-factor authentication. Or sometimes two-step authentication, because that means even if a bad guy did have your password, they'd also have to have your phone.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So
yeah,
I'll
this would
that one.
just to be prudent, change the password and turn on two-factor, and then you're safe.
Okay, and the other question I had for you was, I'm trying to get a California Lifeline cell phone plan.
Yes.
Cell phone, because I need that.
Yes. Are you on disability now, or?
Well, right now I've got a California Lifeline landline, and they won't let you have both unless you have some kind of a medical condition that I have to get a cell phone because I need that for some other things.
Yeah, so they won't. You can't. You can only have one or the other.
Yeah, you can only have one or the other.
Oh man,
so I'm really stuck.
What is wrong with this world? Okay,
So they gave me some names of these wireless companies, which I know nothing about, and I thought maybe you might have heard of this list.
So, yeah, they probably told you about True Connect or something like that,
yeah,
right?
They gave me Access Wireless,
Yeah.
Assurance Wireless,
Yep.
N-Touch,
These
ENTOUCH.
They used to call these the Obama phones. I don't know what they call them now,
Yeah.
but they are essentially provided by the federal government, not the state government. And
California Lifeline cell phone service.
Yeah, but so these are all legit. The list that they provided you: Q-Link, Assurance Wireless, Tag Mobile.
Link,
Yeah.
Tag Mobile. Do you know of any of these that you would recommend of this list that I've got?
No, I don't have any experience with these, but I think they're all fine. So this was the free government cell phone.
Well,
and
you get one. It's not free. You have to qualify.
it's cheap. Yeah, it's not free. It's cheap, and
No.
you do have to qualify for it.
Yeah, you have to qualify. And so when I went to some of these websites for these wireless companies that have their cell phones,
Here's the one I would do because it's from Virgin Wireless is Assurance.
I think there is Virgin on there.
Yeah, it's Assurance does Virgin's. And I know this company, and it's a good company. So I think it would be a safe one to go through. I'm sure they're all fine.
Virgin?
It's called Assurance.
Oh yeah, I've got Assurance on the
Yeah,
list.
use that one because that's from Virgin Wireless.
Oh, that's from Virgin Wireless.
Yeah.
I'll try. I'll give them a call. And see
Yeah.
what to do.
Yeah.
And then since I can't get to the Apple Store, and I'm trying to pay my Frontier Communications phone bill,
Yeah.
and it won't let me. My computer won't let me go to the website the way I used to be able to do to pay the bill online, and it won't let me download.
Well, that's
app.
that's frustrating.
Cannot download.
I would call Frontier.
I did. I've been on the phone with them. For
And what
about
do they say?
They said there's nothing they can do.
Oh, please.
And this started March 6th.
Hold on, because I gotta wrap here. But hold on for a second. I'll help you off the air. That's ridiculous. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. That is ridiculous. What they say? There's nothing they can do.
They said I should take my computer to the Apple Store and see if they can upgrade my iPad.
Oh, it's an iPad you're using.
Yeah, I'm using an iPad which has iOS 9.3.
Oh, there's your problem. That's pretty old, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty old.
We're up to iOS 12 now.
Oh.
So it might be that's the issue.
Yeah, I need to have an iOS of at least 10.
So that should be pretty easy unless your iPad is so old that you can't upgrade it. But here's the thing you do. You go to the settings.
Yeah.
And in the settings, you go to General.
I've done that.
And you've seen the update. And does it offer you an update?
It says no. It says you have the late. You
know what? The Apple Store couldn't help you either. Your iPad is too old.
I didn't take it to the Apple. I didn't even call them yet.
They wouldn't be able to do anything for you. What they would say is, yes, ma'am, let me show you the fine display of new iPads you could use.
So I can't even do anything with this old iPad. It's just that's the way it is.
Well, you can do a lot of things.
No, but I mean, I can't upgrade it.
No.
Oh.
You could
still. The only thing I'd have to do is buy a new iPad.
That's what they would make you do. Now, here's the good news. Since you bought that iPad, they have reduced prices. You can get an iPad now for around $329. I know that's a lot of money, but it's a lot less than you paid for originally. So if you can afford a newer iPad, this is a little frustrating. That iPad's going to do a lot of the things it used to do just fine. But
it still works.
Yeah.
I just can't pay my bill anymore. I used to be able to up until March. I could pay my bill right online.
Won't Frontier let you pay it over the phone with a credit card?
You pay when you pay online. You don't have to pay extra fees.
Ah.
But if you call or you do it any other ways, then they charge you for paying.
Got it. Well, I'm sorry to say, Apple has decreed that it's probably a first or second generation iPad. It's decreed that it will no longer be receiving updates. If you brought it to the Apple Store, there's nothing they could do. They would just say, well, yeah, it's old. We can't update it. Would you like a new one?
Yeah, probably that's what's going to happen.
I guarantee you that's what they do. Oh, madam, let me show you the fine array of lovely iPads we have for sale.
Oh yeah, that's what happens every time.
I know.
I used to go to that.
Oh, I'm shaking you can't see it, but I'm shaking my fist at Apple right now. So
You know if I call them, if they'll give me any information about anything on the phone?
No, they'll just say what I just said.
Oh, so they won't give you any. Oh, they'll just say you can't upgrade.
They'll say,
yet.
yeah, your iPad. They'll say this literally. Oh, ma'am, your iPad is too old for updates. You cannot update it, but maybe you'd like to buy a new one.
Oh yeah, every time I've been there, they always try to all the latest stuff.
Yeah, you do need a more recent one. There's another way you can get a less expensive one. If you go to apple.com and, well, I think actually the best thing to do is search for Apple refurbished iPads. Mm-hmm. A lot of times they get they sell older iPads. I'll do it for you real quick just to see what the prices are. If you're disabled, you can't get out of the house. The last thing you want to do is spend hundreds of dollars on a new iPad. But let me see if
this one everything used to work fine until I could pay my bill.
Yeah, well, it got old enough. Apple.com/shop/refurbish/iPad, $239 is the lowest cost iPad they're selling. But you're getting it from Apple, which means it's got the full warranty. Mm-hmm. And it would be it's 5th generation, so it's many years newer than yours.
Oh, yeah, because this one I got this about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
5 or 6 years ago.
So I'm seeing on the refurbished store $239. That's as low as you're going to get an iPad for. But it's basically brand new.
Did you hear of anybody else that couldn't pay their bill anymore for Frontier commercial?
No, it's because it's what happens. And unfortunately, it is the way of the world, which is for security reasons, websites want you to use a more modern browser.
Yeah.
And you can't get a more modern version of Safari on that.
No.
Because, now, here's one thing I didn't even think of. You might be able to go to the App Store and see if you can install Chrome or another browser. That might work.
I tried to install Chrome, the Chrome version.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't let me. The same thing. It said
same problem.
You can't install. We can't install.
Yeah. So what you're seeing there is it isn't really Apple. It's just you need a more modern browser. What is Apple is that they won't update that iPad to newer operating systems. And that may well be because it's just not fast enough or doesn't have enough memory. There might be some limitation.
Yeah. Well, it keeps people buying newer computers.
Well, that could be the reason, too. It could be a profit thing.
Yeah, it could be. Because it just works fine. Everything works fine.
I know.
Actually, I can go to all the other websites. The only one I can't do anything on is my Frontier.
Yeah. That's for security because they don't want you to put a credit card number or anything into an insecure browser.
Oh, that's probably it.
Yeah, it's to protect you.
And then what I'll do is I'll check that one that you told me to use for the
yeah, Assurance is fine.
Access. Wait, you said Assurance?
Assurance, because that's from Virgin Mobile, and that's a good company. They have a variety of good phones. They go on the Sprint network, I think.
They had Samsung phones.
Yeah, those are great.
Is there any?
You know what? Guess what? If you get a Samsung phone, you get a nice Samsung phone, I bet you could pay your Frontier bill from that.
Well, if it's new.
Yeah.
I should be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
Do you recommend any of those Samsung phones?
What models do they have? What models do they have?
I'm not on their website.
Yeah.
When I went to it, they had about 3 or 4 or 5 different.
Good. Get one that's running the most recent version of Android. The current version of Android this is the same problem you were having with the iPad. The current version of Android is 9. If they offer anything with 8 or 9, that would be perfect for you. Android 8 or 9. And if they did, then I guarantee you the Frontier website would work with it and you could pay your bill that way.
Yeah, because none of these companies use smartphones. They use mostly Samsung.
Yeah, if it's not a smartphone, then you're out of luck. But if you can get a smartphone, let me just look and see what Assurance.
Well, when I looked at
they're not going to be the fanciest because you're getting it, for free or cheap. Let me see. Free monthly data, free unlimited text, free monthly minutes, plus a free Android smartphone.
Yeah.
Yay! It's not going to be a fancy one.
No.
It's not, but it might be enough to pay your Frontier bill.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, mostly I need the cell phone so that I'd be able to phone when I'm out of the house.
No, and for safety, it's good to have. It's a good thing to have. That's why I was surprised that Lifeline only gives you a choice of one or the other.
Yeah, and so if I have to, I have to present a case if I want to have keep the landline, which I need too.
Oh, that's so silly.
And I need a cell phone, so I have to present, and then they make a decision. They make a judgment if they're going to grant you each company.
They're so paranoid that people are going to rip them off.
Well, I wouldn't do that because it's too much trouble.
Of course, you're not going to do that.
It takes hours and hours, and plus, I wouldn't do it if I had enough money. I'd just get the cell phone.
I know.
But I don't.
I know.
At least I've got a landline, but that doesn't go out of the house.
They're providing a public service.
Yeah.
They got to remember that instead of, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, it's great to have the public service of California Lifeline for people.
Yep.
But when you can only choose one, and they're very careful. They won't let you have more than one. If they find out you do, then they take one away.
Well, I hope that this does not affect the Obama phone, but maybe it does. I can't promise it doesn't.
Oh, about Lifeline?
Yeah, the Lifeline cell phone, the free government phone may also have that restriction. I don't know. I think not, because it's a federal program as opposed to a state program. So I bet you it doesn't.
I never even tried to get any other phone.
Yeah, we pay into this. This is where, we pay this on our phone bill every month. The Universal Service Fund pays for it. So
that's something else besides Lifeline?
Yeah, this is the federal Lifeline. So there's state Lifeline. That's your landline.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's why they call it the Obama phone or the government phone. And that's how Assurance is. It's a federal Lifeline program.
Because I got that from California.
Well, now I'm wondering. It says the Lifeline Assistance Program is available for only one wireless or wireline account per household. So it sounds like it has the same limitation.
You're talking about.
Yep.
California Lifeline is administered in California, only certain states. So California Lifeline is administered, and then they have.
Looks like the same problem.
It's the same problem. You can only have one. You can't get more than one. Even if you go to federal, you can't get one federal phone and one state phone.
I guess they figure one phone should be enough for anybody.
Yeah, and I never tried to get a federal phone.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know that. I thought that was the same thing as this California one.
Are you a member of AARP, or do you have anybody working with you?
Well, AARP, you can get phone services, but you have to pay for them.
Yeah, they're not free. Yeah.
No, nothing is really free.
No.
And these days, unfortunately, but thank God we've got Leo helping people.
I'm free. I'm free.
I hope that, congratulations on your daughter's graduation.
Oh, thank you, Jade. Thank you for helping me. Now I can go to commencement.
Yeah, and you have a wonderful time at the commencement, and congratulations to you and your family and your daughter.
Oh, Jade, you're so sweet.
Show, and you're such an up person. You always cheer me up.
Oh, thank you, Jade. Well, I'll remember that you're listening from now on.
Oh, yeah, I'm listening, and I'll definitely give you a call, and have a great time in 2 weeks.
Anytime, Jade.
Great. Thanks so much, Leo.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Let's get some more calls on the horn here. Richard in Bucks County, PA. Hey, Richard.
Leo, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I've learned so much from you, and if I get time, I'll ask you about why I think LastPass has been deprecated for El Capitan. The reason why I'm calling, after 40 years of being a Comcast customer, I cut the cable yesterday.
Oh, man, they must have been sorry to see you go.
Yeah, well, actually they weren't. I was sort of surprised.
No, they're jerks. They're big, fat, jerky jerks. They don't care.
Well, I got to tell you, here in Pennsylvania, I was one of the original at-homes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're a Comcast original. That's where it started, in Philly. Yeah.
Yep. Here's my problem. My problem is, it's not a problem. I've gotten Verizon. I'm going to just get their internet. I've got their optical network terminal in my cellar. I have a network.
Oh, nice. So you got fiber. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, yeah. And when I tested at the fiber spot, it's giving me about 700 down and 700 up.
Holy moly. Holy cow.
that I'll never use. But
No.
here's what
Hey.
I want to know.
Yes.
My network, when I used to have Comcast, I put the Comcast router that I owned into bridge mode, sent everything to my time capsule from Apple, and then also used another time capsule down the road. Now, when I take the cable from Verizon, in my router, it's showing DHCP and NAT.
Yeah.
Is that correct, or should it only be showing DHCP?
It's the same. It's basically the same. They're compatible. The problem is I think the Verizon routers that they give you, I don't think you can put them in bridge mode or turn.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't turn off routing. So it's going to be your router, no matter what. Unfortunately, it's an Action Tech.
Action Tech as in brand?
Yeah, that's the brand of them.
No. Apple time capsule.
No, I know, but the Verizon router they provide you with.
Oh, you know what? I don't even know. I didn't even use it. It's in a box.
Well, you're
only because I knew that I couldn't put it in bridge, and I want to keep everything that I've got in here so that it's not easily discernible. But my question for you is, if I'm going right into the time capsule, is DHCP and NAT what I should have, or just DHCP?
Well, DHCP uses NAT. Have them both on. NAT is Network Address Translation.
Right. Okay. Next question.
Yeah.
When I take a look and do one of the many speed tests, including ones that you like, I find that it looks like I'm only getting like about 95 to 100 down and maybe 65 to 70 up.
On Wi-Fi?
On Wi-Fi, yeah, and even on my Mac Pro. I've got a real old Mac Pro, as I said, that I'm running El Cap with. But I've got Cat5e, I've got gigabit switches. Is there a reason you can...
You're not going through the time capsule, though, are you?
To
any of these devices. If you're going through the time capsule as your router, that's going to be your bottleneck.
Okay, so that if I want to get faster speeds for my Ethernet cables, what do I do? Do I get a splitter? Do I first
get rid of that time capsule? That thing is superannuated. They don't even make it anymore.
I know. Older than I am.
Yeah. So I think what you would be better off is getting a modern... you can actually keep the time capsule, put that in bridge mode before the time capsule, in between Verizon and the time capsule, put a modern router...
Like a tri-band?
Yeah, something better. You know, maybe something, I don't know. Yeah, something faster. So you've got Ethernet coming out of the box in the basement.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I've got to go.
But it's not routed. It's not routed. It's just one line that's just Ethernet. In other words, you couldn't put that in a switch.
I've got it on a switch, but I see what you're saying. So it's still being parsed down and parsed.
Well, I'm trying to find out. I'm not familiar with how Verizon does their FiOS, but it would be my guess that there's a router in that box, a Verizon router in that box. Am I wrong?
No, when you say in that box,
so coming out of the wall, you've got one Ethernet jack coming out of the wall.
Yeah, no, that's just an optical network terminal. I didn't even use their router.
I see. They provided a router, but you didn't connect it.
Exactly.
So you still need a router.
I don't need a router. And when I test it there at the optical network terminal, as I said, it's like 700.
Yeah. There's nothing in between you and the outside world. So you could put that on a switch and connect multiple devices, each with their own local address.
So could I put that directly on the switch and then take that switch and put it
I'm asking you. I'm trying to understand if there is routing going on or not out of that. If you have one device...
I just got one big pipe coming out of it.
Well, but I'm thinking that there is... All right. So you need a router, in other words. You know you need a router.
To replace the time capsule, yes.
No, I don't want you to use the time capsule.
No, I said to replace the time capsule.
You need a router. Anything's going to 700 megabits or gigabits rather, so fast that, anything is going to slow you down a little bit, but you certainly should get more than 100 megabits out of that. So 700 megabits, I should say, not gigabits. It'd be nice if you got 700 gigabits, but you're not.
So when I buy the new router, I'm connecting the Verizon to the tri-band router.
Yeah.
And the tri-band router can be DHCP and
or Wi-Fi, yeah. So you got an optical network terminal in your basement that has one Ethernet coming out of it. It is not routed.
Exactly.
It is that. It is your public IP address as given to you by Verizon.
Correct.
You need to connect that to a router. I would look around for one with the best possible throughput. That'll be a modern throughput. Although you could probably, if you're going to do that, use the Action Tech or whatever it is that Verizon provided you with. They're going to provide you with something that's capable of that kind of speed. Otherwise, you're going to complain to them. So you've already got something. You might try that. And then you can continue to use the time capsule, which includes an Apple Airport Extreme, but just put it in bridge mode. So it's not double natting it. That generally is something you don't want to do. And since you can't turn off the natting, you don't want to put anything on the other side of the time capsule if you can avoid it. What you'd like is a very fast router that you connect everything else to, including the time capsule.
Sounds good. I'm going to do it. Should I ask you my LastPass question?
Sure. You got about a minute?
Okay. I've got a big Mac Pro. It's 10 years old. Consultant set me up with it. I have El Cap on it because I got some very expensive software that unfortunately I can't reload if I upgrade the operating system because the consultant died and he put it on. So I'm stuck with a dead man's Mac.
That doesn't sound pleasant.
Isn't it lovely? So that I am running now 10.11.6 from Apple. My Safari is 11.1.2, and I'm constantly getting an error message or a message from LastPass saying things have changed. You have to upgrade your browser.
Hang on, I'll take this one off the air because I got to take a break. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. So I'm sorry, but I had to.
That's okay. I know radio.
Yeah, you know radio, man. So you're using modern Safari on an old El Capitan machine.
Yeah. And what LastPass told me was, since I cannot update the Safari, that
you are using a Safari that's vintage.
Chrome, then.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I think they're not telling people that they've technically deprecated it for anybody running Safari under or from 11.1.2.
Here's what happened. It happened earlier this year, and it's Apple. Apple changed how Safari works with plugins. And
I know that.
Yeah, so LastPass, in order to work with Safari, had to change how their extension works. They have an app. You should take a look at the app. That might be the better way to use LastPass on a El Capitan. Have you tried the LastPass app?
Actually, I haven't. I can look to see, but every time I tried to upgrade or
use Chrome.
Okay, let me see if I have.
Honestly, LastPass works better on Chrome than it does on Safari, and I think it's because of these Apple changes. Hey, Johnny Jet.
Hello, Leo. How you doing?
I'm good. You took your, how old is Jack? 2? 2.5. 2.5-year-old to the LA Zoo to feed the giraffes. Now, did you feed him to the giraffes, or how did?
He was trying to.
Did he get? So the giraffes eat what? Leaves, right?
Branches.
Did you get to feed them or just watch them be fed?
No. You actually get to hold. You don't get to touch the animal, but you get to hold the branch. It's a twig, and or you can put it flat on your hand, and they'll lick it off.
Oh my!
But Jack's like, "Oh, I'm not doing it." He's like, "Dad." So I did it.
Oh yeah, those are scary. Had he ever seen a giraffe before?
First time. I mean, my wife reads him literally 20 children's books a night, and most of them have giraffes in them. And so it was a real treat when they invited us to go. I couldn't pass it up.
We went to. I think it was the San Diego Zoo, their safari park. And that was so much fun. Oh, you got to do it because you ride around in the giraffe pen, and the giraffes really interact with you. They have something to say. And what they're looking for is, leaves. Actually, I think, and I have a picture on my website at leolaporte.com. I think that giraffe just wanted to know what my next move was in Words with Friends. I think that was what he was up to.
Have you ever done a safari?
It's fun.
Have you ever done an African safari?
No, I'm dying to.
Oh, okay.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been fortunate to do multiple. I've done a tiger safari in India, I've done East Africa, South Africa.
My travel agent Jane is an expert in African safaris. She keeps saying, "Leo, when are you going to Africa?"
The best thing I've ever done in my life, in my travels, was go on a hot air balloon safari. And I'm afraid of heights. Wow. But going on a hot air balloon safari, and I've done it twice in different parts of Africa, you just hover over the trees and you're just watching the animals. It's just surreal. And it's one of the best things you can ever do. So if you ever get the opportunity, jump on it. You got to get up early in the morning and do it, but it's so worth it.
Sounds great. Johnny Jett is our travel guy. You can see he does a lot of traveling, and he helps us each week travel better with technology.
Yes, I do.
Do you have some help for us?
So I do. You know, we talk about our favorite bags sometimes. So we both love Briggs & Riley.
Briggs & Riley. So, I finally traded in everything. I'm all Briggs & Riley.
Okay, good. I told you about that trade-in, by the way. If you dropped off your old bag, they give you $100 towards a new one. But
I wish I'd known that.
That's over now. That was, I think, the month of March.
Well.
But
they're not cheap bags, but they last forever. So
they last forever. So, but there's a new company, and this one you're going to love because it's really technical. So it's called Roam Luggage, and we're spelling Roam ROAM luggage.com. And what I love about this company, it's the founders, or not the founders, the executives of Tumi, which is a real high.
Oh, I am a Tumi guy, too. I have a Tumi backpack. I love Tumi stuff.
So these guys created their own luggage called Roam Luggage. And what I love about it is that you can do a full customization. And I did it. It's 9 different parts. It literally took me 5 minutes. Full disclosure, they paid for my bag, but so I could try out the service. And it is amazing. So
now,
my bag.
Now. One thing I don't like, it's hard-sided luggage. Do you like hard-sided? I like soft-sided.
No, I like soft-sided, too. My wife loves hard-sided. So
why?
I was like, you know what, I'll test it out. I don't know.
Does it protect the stuff better?
I don't know.
What did you start with? Did you start with the Jaunt or the Jaunt XL, the Journey, or the Globetrotter? The Globetrotter. All right, let's customize it. Let's see what we can do here on this.
And do the full one, and it can do 1 million different color combinations, they say.
That's good because every bag looks the same at the baggage check.
And that's why I did it, because actually my wife has an away bag, and we landed a few days ago, and someone actually had her bag
There's
almost
too many
ready to
away
go out
bags out there. Yep.
So I said, sure, I'll try it out. So you can do a front shell, the back shell, the zipper, the bind, zipper pull.
That's good. I did a front blue, back red with a yellow zipper.
That's exactly. I did a yellow zipper. I did a black shell on one side. The other side's I think orange, yellow orange.
This is fun to make it all that special color. Okay,
it is. I made all the wheels orange.
Oh, wow!
This and I love
very so. This is you could have a unique color scheme. The chances of somebody else having this color scheme are pretty low.
That's what I'm telling you. And it's it has a 5-year warranty, which I really like. It only weighs 10 pounds, 10.3 pounds.
I'm going to put my name on it too. You can put your name on it.
You can. And I did the monogram. I put my,
what do you put? Jet. JJ? Oh, you put Jet. Yeah, that's smart. Yeah.
And, anyway, you can get $50 off if you I have a promo code JohnnyJet50, and it gives you $50 off.
All right. You cost me so much money. I have all new bags because of you, and now you want me to get a new one. RoamLuggage.com.
And it came, it comes within 6 days. And
it's pretty sweet looking.
I just love the way that you can customize your own bag. You don't have to worry about someone ever grabbing yours, at least by accident. And I've actually done that before. I've grabbed someone else's, and someone's grabbed mine before.
Well, my bag now looks like a circus clown. So I think I'm done.
Mine did. And I like that. I mean, it's different.
That's pretty funny. All right. What else you got for us?
All right. So I know you're going on a big trip soon, but are you going to London? Because I have a website and an app that's good for London taxis or
no, I'm not, but I will. Just for you. Okay. I'm going to go to London.
It's called cabhit.com. CABHIT.
I love
Cabhit.
London. And the London cabbies are so cool.
Well, they're expensive. So those are called Hackney cabs, black taxis.
Okay.
And I usually stay away from them because they're much more expensive, and usually they charge you extra if you want to pay by a credit card, and I rarely ever have cash on me, pounds or whatever. So when I'm in London, first of all, I usually take Black Lane to and from the airport, which is an expensive
car. And that's available in London. That's good to know. Black Lane's really
all
great.
around the world. And then if you get Black Lane Pass, you get to bypass the long customs lines. But that's the way to go through the airport, like a VIP. And then I would usually get in a Black Lane, or I've even taken the tube right from the airport.
Is this like Uber kind of?
No. So what this is, it's almost like Kayak, but for taxi cabs. So they'll tell you all the different cab services that are available and what they charge, and you just pick one out of here. So it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's an aggregator. So
and it's all British.
It's all British. So it's good for England.
But they don't just do Heathrow. They do Gatwick.
Oh yeah, they do the airport. Yeah, you don't have to go to an airport. You go
Bristol, Birmingham,
around the city. You just need to.
So they have an app, or is it just a website?
No, they have an app too. But I think that the website's easier to use. But again, I mean, when you're in London, you really want to either get around using a tube, except
I like the tube.
Not during rush hour. Right. You definitely don't want to be in a car during rush hours. Right. I avoid just staying off the streets and the tracks then. But and I take UberX sometimes in London.
I like Uber. I'll take Uber if they have it. Not every city has it. So this is CabHit, CABHIT.com. And just remember, they drive on the left. So always look right when you're crossing the street.
When you're in London or any place where they drive on the opposite side, you got to look every different direction.
Look all over the place.
You need to look in every different direction, even in New York City, because it's the delivery bikes that are really a problem.
Oh, man.
They're on the sidewalk. You can't hear them, and they're going the wrong way, and I've almost been taken out.
All you got to do is look for JohnnyJet.com. That's Johnny's website. Follow him on Twitter @JohnnyJet and Instagram, JohnnyJet. And are you hitting the road soon?
I sure am. And actually Twitter. And I heard you talking about Twitter in a segment before or earlier.
Yeah.
That you don't think Twitter is very useful, which I strongly disagree, especially when it comes to travel.
No, I do think it's useful. I don't understand why it's useful. These companies act as if people are paying attention. And if somebody complains about something on Twitter, oh, it's the end of the world.
I see.
Nobody sees that. Johnny Jet. Thank you, Johnny. We'll talk again next week.
Thank you.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I am Leo Laporte, the tech guy. You are, well, let's see. You are on the line. Vidak in Sacramento. Hey, Vidak.
Hello, sir.
Good to talk to you. Let me put on my hat. No, where is it? Somewhere I have my Montenegrin cap that you brought me when you came to the studio a few months ago. Did you get the pictures? I sent you the pictures.
Yes, I did. Yes, I
good.
did. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. What could I do, Vidak, for you?
I have a problem, or rather my sister has a problem. She lost her Samsung Galaxy Tab 10-inch tablet.
Oh, man.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, she thinks she threw it away accidentally.
Yeah, those tablets, I've often feared that I would accidentally leave it on a counter and it would get swept into the trash. They're small and light enough to be easy to do.
Yeah. But here's the big question. The only thing she can find using the account that's attached to that tablet is the date when it was last used. Is there any way to figure out the location?
If she turned on the Find My Device feature, but she would have had to turn it on before she lost it. So, yeah, in fact, if you have an Android device of any kind, whether it's a phone or a tablet, both Samsung and Google offer programs that will help you find your device and locate it on a map if it's lost. It'd actually be great because then you could see if it's in the garbage dump.
Yeah.
Let me think. She also should go to her Google account, google.com/, dashboard. And it would show locations. Actually, let me think about this, because I know I've gone online and I've been able to select different Android devices and it would say, oh, this one's here, this one's there. It was in the location information. I think, yeah, if she had Google Maps on there, for instance, she could look at her Google Maps timeline for that device. But she'd have, again, I think you have to turn it on, although I think it's on by default. So that's a place to go. Start with google.com/dashboard and see if her history for that device is there. I think it does narrow it down by device. I can't remember offhand.
Is there anything else she can do now that the thing is probably discharged? And
yeah, it would just show the last place it saw it.
Yeah.
So it'll just be the last place. And if it happens to be the garbage depot, well then she knows. If it happens to have been stolen, but maybe it's in the closet under a bunch of clothes and she didn't even know it.
It probably is. That's my guess. But I mean, there's no way to prove. Apparently, she looked through her whole apartment 3 times.
It has a Find My Device page. And if probably, I don't think you have to actively turn this on. Go to google.com/android/find. And it will show, I'm looking at mine, and I see my S10, my 3XL, my Galaxy Note 9, which is long gone, and an Asus 7-inch Nexus tablet that I bought in 2012. So I guess it does keep track of all your old devices, and it'll show you whatever location information it has. It'll also play a sound. And if it can see the device, now by this time the battery is probably dead, but if somebody stole it or found it and is using it, you can actually lock the device and sign out of the Google account or even erase the device. This is good stuff to have around. So that is at google.com/android/find. Samsung has its own, as I remember. Let me look at my Samsung Galaxy phone and see. If she logs into her Samsung account online, I bet you she could also see the location, last seen anyway, of the tablet. I'm just looking at my... I always turn... The first thing I do, and you can tell her this, is turn that stuff on, or if it's not on, sometimes it's not on the device, but you have to download it. Find it and download it. And everybody listening, do the same. Yeah, on the Samsung devices, there's a Find My Device app. Actually, that's from Google. That's the Google Play Find My Device. So that's one. And I think Samsung has its own. I bet you there's information somewhere about where that tablet was last powered on. And that would at least let her know what happened.
All right. Thanks you very much.
I'm wearing your hat.
Thanks.
Do they call that a fez? It doesn't have a brim.
Some call it a fez. I don't know. It's a traditional Montenegro hat. Like if you, I don't know, 100 years ago, that's what people used to wear.
I love it. It's got what looks like the Russian, two-headed eagle on it.
Yeah, that's kind of the theme of emblems.
Yeah, they all look kind of the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's great to talk to you again, Vidak. Thank you, and I'm sorry about your sister's Galaxy tablet. That's Marzum in our chat room is saying, "Why is Leo wearing a York peppermint patty on his head? Because it looks good. That's why. Because it looks great." Line 2, Richie in Los Angeles. Hi, Richie. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure.
I have a question about the Amazon wish list.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out a way to sort through them so I can organize them and put all the like items in the same area of my list, because I have hundreds of items on the list like many other people. And when I call Amazon, they make it sound like I'm from outer space.
Why would you ever want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, and they've had these lists for years.
Oh, yeah.
Accumulate a lot of stuff. but I guess there's no real way of, officially at least, I was calling in to see if there was some kind of a hack or maybe the chat.
Well, what do you want? You want to reorder it? What do you want to do?
Yeah, they used to have page numbers. They took away the page numbers.
Right.
And you can't mark something as something that you want, and it gets put to the top of the list.
Well, I'll show you one little. I'll show you one little trick. I mean, I'm looking at my wish list. I forgot that I even had one. This is a popular thing with strippers everywhere. Go see my wish list and give me stuff. One thing you can do, if you move the mouse over the item, you'll see that there is an ability to drag things around, change the order. So at least you can do that. You can move, for instance, if you say, "Oh, this is really number one," there's a button that you can click, but you wouldn't see it otherwise. You have to hover the mouse over the left edge. You can click top, and that'll put that thing right on the top of your list. So that's a little bit of a help for ordering it.
Yeah, I've done some of that, but you have to drag. Let's say something's at the bottom of the list, and you want to put it in the middle or at the top.
Yeah, you have to drag and drag. I only have 5 items in my. Yeah, I know. It's not very efficient, isn't it? You know, somebody should write a third-party app that lets you manage and maintain and reorder your wish list. I've never done this. I'm surprised that you can even put this in order. I have several wish lists. In fact, I have one from 2016 for a PC that we were going to build, and it has all the parts. But that's one way to get this in order, is to maybe separate it out into different lists. And you can also drag items to different lists. So maybe what you should do to save yourself some Surus is to create a new wish list, a couple of new wish lists, and then drag them into the different wish lists so that you can simplify. You don't have one long 800 item list. It's going to take a little trouble, but frankly, this is more flexible than I thought. Let's see what else. I'm going to click Manage List. Well, wait a minute. There isn't a Manage List item too. I don't know what that does, but maybe there is. Maybe Amazon is ahead of the game. They figured out. No, Manage It doesn't look like you could change the order on stuff. But it does look like there is some flexibility there. Play with it. Make some new lists. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our show today brought to you by, our podcast today brought to you by DigitalOcean. I love me some DigitalOcean. What a modern world, what an exciting world we live in. DigitalOcean is a really good example of how easy it is if you're creating a web application. Maybe you're a student, as I am. I love to play with web toys, and you need a server. If you have you want a website, easily run production applications on the internet with DigitalOcean. Now, I'm going to tell you what it is. This sounds a little baffling. A scalable compute platform with add-on storage, security, and monitoring capabilities. What it really means is the easiest hosting ever with the fastest provisioning ever. It's so simple. You can launch in the cloud, but it'll grow with you, so it's a great way to make a minimum viable product, show your investors, your friends, whatever, or just for your own edification. I do it all the time. And then, if you got a hit, it'll scale with you, whether you're running one virtual machine or 10,000. The thing I love about it is you can get an idea and spin up a DigitalOcean server in less than a minute. And I mean, I remember the days when you'd have to call the server company. We had one in Texas. You call them up and say, "Hi, I need a server. What do you want to run? Red Hat? Okay, we'll call you back in a week." Because in their defense, they probably had to go down to the machine and put a disk in and all that. No, man, this is so cool. DigitalOcean, you pick the server you want, the location, and they have geographic locations all over the world. You pick the features you want. You get standard general purpose or CPU optimized configurations, so you've got the flexibility to get the horsepower you need, but not pay for more than you want. Oh, and I love, it's so popular with developers and operators that they have written over 2,000 open source tutorials on getting almost anything running on DigitalOcean. So whatever you're doing, it's easy. They've got a great control panel. The API lets you spend more time coding, less time worrying about infrastructure. You can use Docker. If you want to use Kubernetes to orchestrate, no problem. Improves availability, scalability, resource efficiency of your containerized apps. They have pre-configured one-click applications. They call it the marketplace. For almost anything, LampStack, no problem. LampStack, no problem. Docker, GitLab, Jenkins. Yeah, you can have your whole Jenkins production server running up and getting up and running in a minute. They've got Plesk and cPanel. You can do WordPress. It's just awesome. I have Node.js servers set up, GitLab servers set up. It's a great way to play with a new language or a new web framework. Secure and control the traffic to your applications with your own VPN, or VPC, I guess, is virtual private cloud. Traffic filtering, load balancing. If you want a public IP address, it's automatic. You don't have to be. It can be private too. I love it, though, that I can say, it's all up and running. I can attach go to a domain, my domain registrar, attach a name to it and say, hey, try it. Our minimum viable product is up and running on DO. Very flexible server configuration for whatever you need. Reasonable pricing that is predictable, so you know exactly what it's going to cost. It's the same across regions and usage volumes. And at no additional cost, look at all the stuff you get. Cloud firewalls, monitoring and alerts, team accounts, complete DNS management, 4 nines uptime, and that's an SLA, so you can count on it. Their global centers, data centers are all over the world, 12 of them, so you can have connectivity and redundancy. I always choose San Francisco because that's closest to us, but you choose the one that's closest to you. And, of course, world-class support 24/7, 365 days a year. DigitalOcean is awesome. Trusted by 1 million developers. And for an old-timer like me to see this, I just really think this is one of the things that's making the internet explode. It's just fantastic. It's changing the world. Go to do.co/twit today. Sign up and get a free $100 credit. What? Yes. do.co/twit. Get a free $100 credit. And you'll let them know you heard it here that way. And that way I get the credit, which is nice. You get a credit, I get a credit, everybody gets a credit. DigitalOcean. Designed for developers, built for business. Thank you, DigitalOcean. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography. We've got your smartphones, we've got your smart watches. We got all that jazz. Dick DiBartolo coming up a little later on this hour with his gadget of the week. But let us waste no time getting back to the phones. And on the line right now from Scranton, PA, it's Rich. Hi, Rich.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm terrific.
What can I do for you?
I've been thinking about starting up a podcast that my rabbi would be doing.
Oh, fun. So you want to produce it for the rabbi?
Yeah.
Great idea.
It would be on environment. And I just want to know, what do I do first?
That's a great question. So let me, actually, you're asking the right guy, because I started podcasting in the very earliest days, 2004. In fact, it was this very show that was my first podcast, the Tech Guy Show. Several thousand shows later, I'm still doing it. In fact, what happened after I did that, and that was, I think it was September 2004, I then added more podcasts and more, and eventually just built up a podcast network we call This Week in Tech at twit.tv. And it's been a nice little business for me over these last 15 years. So I know a little bit about podcasting from the very beginning. But one thing that has changed significantly is how easy it is. So a podcast consists of a few different things. And so you're going to have to solve 2 or 3 different problems. First, most podcasts are audio only. We do audio and video, but that's nuts. Unless your rabbi's a really good-looking fella, I would say this should be an audio podcast. That's how most people listen. They listen in their car. They listen at bedtime, whatever. They're not really wanting to watch a screen. So, and then in a way that simplifies things, because all you need is a way to record audio. If you have a laptop and a headset microphone, that's all you need. If you want it more complicated, I'll give you some hints on that. Secondarily, once you've recorded the audio, you might want to edit it, put music in front of it, whatever you want to do to, dress it up. But now you've got a show that can range anywhere from 30 seconds to unlimited. Some of our shows are almost 3 hours long. That's up to you. But now, to turn it into a podcast, you've got to do a couple of things. First of all, you have to have that show available to download, because that's how a podcast works. It's really just downloading a file that you either play as you're downloading it, we call that streaming, or download it and play later on demand, in effect. And so you have to have somewhere to put that podcast that people can download it. And then the final thing that makes it a podcast, the reason it is a podcast is because there's something, and this is the most technical aspect of it all, called an RSS feed, really simple syndication. It's a simple text file. It's structured, very highly structured, that says, in effect, here's the episodes of the show, and when there's a new one, here's the newest. And the reason you make that is so that people can use a podcast application like iTunes or Google Podcasts, there are many of them, Pocket Casts, Overcast, can use that application. It will periodically go to where the RSS feed lives. It's a second file, so you've got the podcast file and the RSS file. It'll go there and see if there's anything new. So the RSS feed is a way of saying there's a new show. The podcast app will then say, okay, let me download it, and the RSS feed will have the information about how to download it. It'll download the file. It'll be on the person's phone or device, and they can listen to it. That, in a nutshell, is everything you need to know. But I'm going to make it so much easier for you. It used to be we had to do a lot of work to get that to work. There is a really good solution that does it all. It's Anchor, ANCHOR, like a boat anchor, .fm. This was recently bought by Spotify, but I don't see any reason to think that they're going to change the way they do it. It does the whole thing. You can even use your smartphone with the Anchor app to record the podcast. They have music and sound effects you can add. You can edit it in the Anchor app. It will store the podcast for you for download at no cost. None of this costs anything. And it will create an RSS feed that people can subscribe to in any podcast application. So from the days that I did this, and I had to do it all by hand, it was a lot of work, to now, this is phenomenal. Unlimited free hosting. Very easy to make the podcast. If you want, you can make it with fancier equipment on a laptop or a mixer or a soundboard and then upload it to Anchor. But frankly, I think for a lot of people, just using the Anchor app on a smartphone, you sit down with your rabbi. How's it going to work? Is he going to talk? Is it a sermon? What is the content going to be?
Well, content's going to be about the environment.
So he's just going to talk.
He's going to talk, but he might be interviewing people at the same time you're on the phone.
So you can do it on your phone, and there are microphones you can buy for your phone. You can have multiple microphones. If you want to set up something a little more elaborate, you can get a mixing board and a device to record to, a set of microphones. He could sit down with people. That's a simple and easy thing to do. You'll get a file which you may want to edit and upload to Anchor. But Anchor still does the hard part, which is, and the expensive part, frankly, which is hosting and creating the podcast feed. It does that both automatically. Anchor does have a way that you can have other people on it asking questions. I actually have used Anchor just for fun. And people can leave messages for you, which you can then incorporate in. So if you don't want to have a dialogue, a back-and-forth dialogue, but you want to give people a chance to ask questions, they can do that very easily. They also have an iPad app, and they even have a desktop interface. So really, there's sky's the limit on how you record it. That's going to be up to you. But, man, what a transformation in making a podcast Anchor is. They just got bought by Spotify for a lot of money. And basically what I think of Anchor as is kind of like WordPress was for blogs. It is for podcasts. It takes all the technical stuff out of the equation and makes it easy for anybody who wants to, talk to make a podcast, somebody like your friend, your rabbi friend. So download the app if you've got an iPhone or Android phone, or go to anchor.fm on the website. You can read up on it. It is absolutely, in my mind, there's no question, the simplest, easiest way to make a podcast. The biggest problem with podcasting is success. Because if you're going to make a podcast and you pay money to store it and offer downloads, the more people that listen to it, the more it costs you. Anchor takes that out of the equation by not charging you for it. So I just think these guys really did the world a service by making it free and easy. And if you want to make money on it, if you get enough downloads, they even have ways to do that. You can ask for donations from your audience or even put ads into the podcast if you want to do that. So it even gives you the opportunity to do that. I'm really impressed with what they've created. And now that they're owned by a company with a lot of money behind them, I think that the sky's the limit. As far as recording, I could help you with that. That gets complicated depending on what you want to do. I would start as simply as possible with, you could actually use the phone, put the rabbi out in the field with the phone and have him interview people with the phone, or have a microphone attached to it. That might even be the easiest way to do it. And then it's a snap to just upload it to Anchor and distribute it.
Okay, that's very helpful.
Oh, I'm thrilled that you asked, and I think that this is a great idea for you to do it. Take care.
Take care.
Leo Laporte. I'm always glad to spread the podcast religion. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. And it's never been easier, really. This is just a huge transformation. Not confused with ANKER. It's ANCHOR.FM. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls. Let's move on to line 3 and Eldon in Reno. Hello, Eldon.
Hey, Leo. Hey, I was listening to you a minute ago.
Yeah.
You had a customer, one of your people calling in about programming stuff.
Yes, he wanted to get the skills to get a job, a management job, but they required some technical skills as well.
One of your sponsors actually took the Padres idea on Coding 101 and ran with it.
You're talking about IT Pro TV?
Yes.
They have coding. So I did not know this. They're there for IT professionals to get the certs they need to get an IT job. They are a long-time sponsor. So they have coding classes too, though.
Yeah, they got some classes run by Justin has done several series on Python.
Oh, nice.
And also there's a section in there on HTML5.
Nice. Well, I did not realize that. I would have recommended them. I think they're more, honestly, it's more to support people who are supporting sysadmins and that kind of thing. Because very often knowing a language like Python is very helpful for creating a script to, simplify.
But they go in
life.
and Justin's going through it and showing how a lot of the little tricks.
Nice. Well, that would be a great thing. And, if you just watch the live thing, that's free, although I suspect if you wanted to go back to those courses, you'd have to get a paid subscription.
Use your code and you can get it for $30 a month.
Not bad. Are you I'm guessing, Eldon, you're an IT Pro TV customer.
Yes.
Nice.
I am.
Are you in IT?
All the time.
What do you do?
I used to be, I'm retired now, but I used to be an ISP technician, level 2.
And so you do this because you're just interested?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's great. What a great way to kind of keep your mind active and keep up with the trade, but you're not doing it professionally. You're just doing it for fun.
I've got people from back east that call me every now and then. Hey, can you help me figure this out?
Oh, nice. Oh, that's great. I love that.
But also there's something else. You had a customer a while back that had a problem with they did an update. They had problems with their computer.
Where have I heard that before? Yeah, we have a few callers like that. Yeah.
Well, I had the same thing happen to your channel.
Yeah, what happened?
On Windows.
Yeah.
Well, right now I'm watching your channel, and it says switch at the bottom. And when I did an update, it turned that off.
Oh.
I had to turn it over. I went over and changed it to Ustream.
Yeah.
And got you back on. But I corrected it by going in and add the restore point, go back, and restore it prior to that accident took place.
Well, that's interesting. So it shows that it was the update that broke it.
Yes, and as long as you do not delete your temporary files, you can do it. But if you delete them, forget it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I've never relied on restore points for rolling back, only because I just don't trust it. But on the other hand, as a method of last resort, if doing an update or installing a program breaks something, the ability to quickly roll it back is very, very handy. I'm glad Microsoft keeps that in Windows. Hey, great to talk to you, Eldon. Thank you. And I apologize to IT Pro TV. I didn't even know. I had no idea. Rick in Ventura, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Leo. How you doing today?
I am well. How are you?
Great. Here's how trying to outsmart things sometimes can bite you. I need your help.
I'm always you don't want to be that guy. A little too smart for your own good.
Yeah. When they offered the free upgrade to Windows 10.
Yes.
I wanted to continue with my Windows 7.
So you did what I suggested, which is you upgraded and then rolled back.
Well, no, I didn't.
Okay.
What I did is I have two drives, a C drive and a D drive.
Yeah.
So what I disconnected my C drive and I booted to my D drive.
Yeah.
And then I upgraded Windows 10 to my D drive.
And it worked because it saw your installation somehow.
Yeah, it did. So then I plugged back in my C drive, and now I get a dual boot.
You have a dual boot. When you start up, you say boot from the C drive if you want Windows 7, boot from the D drive if you want Windows 10.
Right. Now, here's the issue. The C drive is only 450 gigs because it's an SS drive.
Right.
So what I want to do is I want to get a bigger one, and with Windows 10 going, with Windows 7 support going away next year, how do I...
Easy. I got the solution for you. You can stop right there. So once you've authenticated, once you go and you see and make sure that this is the case, I think it is because you've been sitting on it for a while, but go into your Windows 10 and make sure it's authorized.
It is.
Okay. That authorization doesn't apply to that installation or even that drive. It applies to the whole machine. You now have, this is a new thing Microsoft started with Windows 10, you now have what Microsoft calls an entitlement to use Windows 10 on that machine. So if you took your hard drive out, you took both the C and D drive out, put a nice big 2 terabyte drive in there, and then downloaded the Windows Media Creation tool with the latest version of Windows 10 on it and put it on a USB key. You need a 16 gig or better key. And then started the installation. It would just install and authenticate. It wouldn't need to see any traces of the previous install because Microsoft knows your machine and says, oh, yeah. His machine...
Just go by, you have 2 drives, and this is...
No, well, we don't... Microsoft's never really told anybody how this works. They are doing some sort of identification around your machine. I would guess it has to do with a motherboard serial number plus the MAC address of your network interface, maybe a few other things. In general, what we found is you can change 1 or 2 things, like, say, a hard drive, and that authentication will still survive. You have to change pretty dramatically to get that authentication to not work.
Okay, what do I have to download on the USB?
So Google Windows Media Creation Tool. Make sure you get it from Microsoft.com. Don't get it from joeswindowsshop.com. Get it from the real deal. And once you get that, it'll walk you through a process where you put it on a USB key. And as I said, it needs to be 16 gigs or better. That turns that USB key into something really useful, a Windows installation disk. You'll then reboot the machine and say, boot to the USB key. Most machines, you have to go into BIOS to do that and change the boot order. But once you change the boot order to boot the USB key, a Windows installer will boot up. And you can, if you wish, you can delete all the existing partitions, or you can just, you can do anything you want with a Windows installer to install Windows 10, and it'll be a Windows 10 machine.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So I didn't get myself in that bad a shape.
No, in fact, that's why my advice at the time was everybody should take advantage of this upgrade. If you want to stay with Windows 7, you can roll back, but at any point now in the future, if you want to go to Windows 10, you just install it and you're good to go. Thank you, Microsoft. And thank you for the call. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We were talking earlier about this whole idea of Windows 10. Once you install it on a machine, it's always authorized. It's always authenticated. You can wipe the drive, take a drive out, put a new drive in, and Windows 10 will be authenticated. This is something different for Microsoft. For years, they've been kind of, frankly, a pain in the butt with this authentication stuff. They had a Windows Genuine Advantage, and you had to log in. In fact, your machine would periodically log into the Genuine Advantage server to make sure you weren't running pirated software. And How many times do we hear about people getting false positives and people have been using Windows for years and it's authorized and they paid a good price for it and it still says, you're running a pirated version of Windows, you criminal, you. And very frustrating. I think Microsoft, we're really looking at a new Microsoft. Briefly, they touched $1 trillion in value earlier this year. Nice job to their new CEO, Satya Nadella. One of the things Nadella, I think, did is a big change for Microsoft. For years, Microsoft, the crown jewels of Microsoft were Windows and Office. Almost all the money they made was Windows and Office. They protected those, and Bill Gates was notorious for hating pirates, protecting those with an iron fist. And of course, as we know, as I've said often, that anti-piracy techniques really don't slow criminals down. They only slow down and impede honest users. Maybe Microsoft realized that. Maybe what really happened was Microsoft realized that times are changing, and the desktop operating system and an Office suite weren't anything to build a business on in the age of the cloud. In fact, now that the cloud is so important, it really doesn't even matter what operating system you're using. So they announced a couple of years ago that Windows 10 would be the last version of Windows. And in effect, I think they're not trying as hard to monetize Windows. It's not as important to them. They've loosened the grip. Not let go completely, no, but they've loosened the grip because their future is in cloud, is in services, much like Apple, who realize the same thing. We're not going to be able to live on the iPhone forever. We better make services our ongoing profit center. Microsoft's doing that with Azure and their cloud services. And honestly, I think this is a good thing for users. A little bit of a less tight grip means that you can install Windows 10. You don't have to pay for it ever again. If you have a machine that's running Windows 10 today, you will get operating system updates, maybe too often, twice a year. You could slow that down a little, Microsoft, but for free. Kind of like Apple does with the Mac OS. It's free now because Microsoft makes money in other ways. So this is a good thing, and I think it's nice. You know, people like our last caller and I and many of us are living in the past where Microsoft didn't authenticate unless you really bought it, and you change anything, you're out of luck, buddy. No, once you install Windows 10, it's yours forever. On with the calls. Let's go to Kauai. I'd like to, actually. Chuck is on the line. Just got back from Kauai last month. You live in paradise, Chuck.
Yes, sir. I missed you. Had my eyes out for you on the water. I heard you took the fabulous Nepali cruise.
Oh, man, is it beautiful. That is the most beautiful coastline in the world, I'm convinced. We did. We rode a catamaran out there, and, of course, the winds were heavy. They almost didn't go, which meant it was pretty choppy. My wife did not have a good ride, but we did see two kinds of dolphins and whales sporting, little baby calf, mama whale, sporting out there. It was so much fun. And that beautiful coastline. Man, is that gorgeous.
Yes, sir. I'm an avid fisherman, and that's kind of a given every time guests come out in the wintertime. We just take them offshore a couple miles and guaranteed to see the whales.
Isn't it beautiful? Well, thank you for your hospitality. It's a very, very beautiful island, the Garden Isle, and the really nice, generous people live there. It's really fun. What can I do for you?
Okay. I was turned on to LastPass by you.
It's our sponsor. Yes, sir.
Fabulous program. I access all of my passwords through this program. I started out as a free user, and the reason I'm calling you, I upgraded to a premium user hoping that this problem would disappear, and it does not.
Uh-oh.
What I experience is when I open LastPass, I use LastPass through Chrome, and it is my default program, so when I click on Chrome, LastPass opens.
Yes.
So when it opens, it gives me the screen, welcome to your vault. It asks me, show me around. I have a selection later or never.
Oh, I hate that tour. I know what you're talking about.
And I am a perfectionist.
I don't want to see that anymore. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Every time I click never, I guaranteed it's coming right back the next time I open the browser. So is there a setting I'm missing? Or can you ask them to do away with this because this just irritates me? And then all my icons are gigantic, and I like them small because I have so many.
Well, the first thing is I would suggest not having your vault be your home page, because you don't need to open your vault unless you want to change settings or mess with it. The extension will automatically fill in pages as you go to them. So the vault is there, but and you're right. Every time I look at my vault, they offer me that tour. I'm so sick of it. I don't want it. There probably is a way to disable it, but like you, I haven't found that. And I will absolutely send a message to my friends at LastPass, because it's a minor thing. I would say turn off the Open Your Vault. Just disable that check mark. It's in the settings. You don't need to see the vault unless you're going to change some settings, or for some reason you want to browse through it or clean it up. Most of the time, just let it fill in the passwords when you need it. My wife does that too. She likes to open sites from her LastPass. You double click on the site and it opens it up, fills in the password. But I think that's an extra step I don't really need to do. So
okay, I'm a little unclear. So
you don't even
need to go
to
the vault?
No. So there's a little checkbox you can change in your settings. It says open the vault page when you log into LastPass. Turn that off.
Okay.
You don't have to see it ever again. That doesn't fix this problem, though, of wanting to give you the tour. And let me write to them.
That's so dumb.
I'm not sure. I don't get it. I don't want to see that. I don't want to take the tour. I know how to use LastPass. And I don't know why that won't go away. It sounds to me like there's a cookie or something that they set that's not being set properly, and they're not noticing it.
Okay, if in fact you can send them a message, how will I know that the result?
You'll know because you'll never see it again, because it'll fix itself. It'll fix itself. That's, a minor thing. I would just say don't have that LastPass vault open automatically. I never open mine unless I need to go into settings. The other thing somebody's suggesting is probably true is tweet it. LastPass has a pretty good and active Twitter team, and that might even be better than going through Leo. As much as I'd like to pretend I'm important to LastPass, it might be better just to tweet it. Why do I keep getting the show me around tour every time I go to my vault? I don't want to be shown around. How do I stop that from ever happening? There's probably a simple setting you and I are missing.
Right on.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for calling. And thank you for supporting our sponsor. I appreciate it. I should mention, little disclaimer, LastPass is a sponsor of the show. But tweet it. I didn't even think of that. It actually is. It's a little weird. LastPass, it's at LastPass Help is their support. At LastPass Help. It's a little weird, but companies really pay attention when you use Twitter. Don't tell them this, but I don't think it really matters that much. But they feel like, oh, no, everybody in the world's seeing your complaint on Twitter. We better fix it. That used to work. I mean, I got some great results complaining about companies on Twitter because I have like 500,000 followers. Honestly, I don't think anybody's really paying attention. But okay, if it works. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We're going to get a gizmo or a gadget or some sort of weird thing from Dick B. Bartolo in a second. Hang on. The Tech Guy Show continues. Our podcast today brought to you by Capterra. I love Capterra. A lot of times we get calls on the radio show. My boss, I work for a veterinarian. My boss said, we need to get new software. Can you recommend something? Don't ask me. You could Google it, but that'd be a bad idea. You just get a kind of random list of possible. But this is what you should do. Go to Capterra. Capterra is a free directory of business software that gives you the information you need to make a good choice in almost any business area. CMS, email marketing, IT service, SEO, workflow management, everything from accounting to yoga studio management and everything in between. Yeah, they have yoga studio management. They have dentist office. See, the thing is, I think so many people now are working with software that, the business got commissioned maybe years ago. It requires you run an old version of Internet Explorer. You know what I'm talking about. You've done this. It's funky. It's old. It doesn't work right. It crashes a lot. And the kid who wrote it is long gone. Don't suffer. There's new modern software for every line of business. And you can find it at Capterra. The best part about Capterra, 700 categories, thousands of products, and 875,000 reviews and counting, 1,000 new reviews every single day by actual users, vetted actual users. So you will know exactly the pros and cons of any package you look at. Go to Capterra.com/techguy, search for your category. You can filter it by number of stars in the review, by whether it's on premises or in the cloud. I mean, any feature you want. Can you manage accounts? Can you make appointments? Whatever it is you need, check those boxes. It'll narrow it down. You can even make a comparison chart of your top 4 and see side by side, feature by feature, then read the reviews and pick the one that's right for you. And this is all free. What a great service. Capterra believes in their heart that software makes the world a better place. Software can help every organization become more efficient and a more effective version of itself. You don't suffer with old stuff. Don't suffer with a program that doesn't do it for you. Go to Capterra.com/techguy. No matter what kind of software your business needs, Capterra makes it easy to discover the right solution fast. And it's free. Not freemium, not we're going to get money from you later, not anything like that. Free. You don't even have to create an account. Just use it. Capterra.com/techguy. Make a note of that. When the boss calls you on Monday and calls you in and says, "We need better software. Your job, find it." Capterra.com/techguy. Don't all bosses talk like that? Smithers! Capterra, software selection simplified. Thank you, Capterra, for supporting the Tech Guy. And thank you for supporting the Tech Guy by going to that special address, Capterra.com/techguy. Now on with the show. I love it. It's disco time. And you know what that means? If you're doing the hustle, it must be time for Dick DeBartolo, Mad's maddest writer and our gizmo wizard. We call him the Giz Wiz. Hi, Dickie D.
How you doing, pal?
Live from Disneyland. I mean, Disneyland.
Yes, exactly.
You want to talk about toys today?
Yeah, you know what? There's at Toy Fair, we see tons of toys.
Yeah.
And then Time to Play magazine has a great event. It's called the Spring Showcase. And there you get to see the toys that are coming out that month or in the spring. And now, I don't know if you knew this, but did you know that axe throwing is a big deal?
Well, all I know about axe throwing is the old Johnny Carson bit with Ed Ames, right? As he was Daniel Boone, I think, right? Or was he? No, it was Daniel Boone or Davy Crockett. Anyway,
I think, yeah.
And he threw the axe and hit the guy right in the most sensitive area. Well, it wasn't a real guy. It was just a wooden.
Yeah, hopefully.
But Johnny used to show it every year on his anniversary show because everybody just cracked up. That's the last time I saw axe throwing.
Okay, well.
It was quite a while ago, by the way.
The guy says to me, axe throwing is a big deal, and they were introducing Zing toys.
Could you explain to me, what do you mean axe throwing is a big deal? Are you just throwing it?
No, Leo, so I went and I said to the guy, axe throwing is a big deal. I Googled it. I have 7 axe throwing bars that I can go to in Manhattan.
No, I am not going to go see axe throwing. Do they throw it? Yeah. What do they throw it at?
There are long wired booths that you go in, and I think it's $35 a person for 2 hours of axe throwing.
What?
You throw them at
What do people think? They're lumberjacks? What is going on?
You know what? I put 2 links to websites on my website. It's
I'm gonna go and find out. All right.
What? Burythehatchet.com, kickaxe.com. So it's a thing. So Zing Toys thought, well, you know what? Since axe throwing is a thing,
I hope their axes are made of foam rubber.
Oh, well, they are. So what it is, it's a fake axe with 3 giant suction cups on it, and it's a foot high. And the object is throw it. It's great.
It looks like something out of Mad Magazine.
It does look like something out of Mad, and you throw it at any smooth surface, and it sticks. And, you know, so typical. I did this for ABC. So typical. Before the camera crew showed up, I said to the guy, how does it work? He said, so we have a big piece of plexi over there. You just throw it. I said, like that. And I threw it, and it stuck fine.
Well, those suction cups are good.
Oh, yeah. but then the camera crew showed up.
Yeah.
I couldn't get that to
of course not.
Right. I finally did.
It bounces off.
And it's very funny. So when ABC ran it, they ran me doing it bouncing off, and then a clock. It says 3 hours later. and then you see me getting one that finally sticks. So it's a fun game. I'm still doing it if you watching the show on Twitch.
Yeah, this is a YouTube video you can get at gizwiz.biz of Dick throwing, bouncing.
Yes, exactly. So they're $10, and
even the guy is laughing at you. So this is if you don't want to invest all the expense of getting an axe throwing gallery in your bar.
Yes,
you could get the Zax. There it is. It's stuck. Of course, I didn't show it.
No, there it is. There it is.
It's stuck. Let's see Dick do it perfectly.
Okay.
Nice.
So they're $10, and you can get them on Amazon. They just became available in the past couple of weeks. Okay, Zulu. I expect.
Wait a minute. That's not all. There's more.
There's more.
But wait, there's more.
Zulu had the watermelon smash that we all love.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
And I said, oh, can I get it wet? Can I get it wet? And they said, well, no, this year we've gone a little different. Kids love slime.
Yes.
Kids love collectibles, miniature collectibles. Why don't we put
I'm not sure I like where you're going here, but go ahead.
Into slime.
Oh, no. Collectible slime?
Slime. Well, they're called Pop Pops or Pop Snots. There are two different ones.
Oh, that's terrible.
And then you pop these things and slime comes out.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you'll get a collectible in the slime.
So there's a collectible buried in some of the slime.
In some of the slime.
Pops.
Okay. And in the fall, I think it's going to be more fun. They're coming out with the slime hammer. So instead of just gently pushing it down with your fingers, you hit it with a hammer, and who knows where the slime goes. Okay?
I don't know if I really want to get anything in my slime, to be honest. So you say in your piece at gizwiz.biz, more than 60 varieties, including rare, super rare, and special editions.
Exactly.
Which seems like it's basically calculated to get kids to buy more slime.
Exactly. Oh. And you have time for the third one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is kind of fun. It's called Oops Scoops.
Oops Scoops.
Scoops. And it's kind of clever. They don't do it with real ice cream. So you have an ice cream cone. If you just starting the game, you get an ice cream cone that doesn't vibrate. And you have a little scooper.
Wait a minute. There are ice cream cones that vibrate?
Well, there is when you want to play the more difficult game.
The advanced Oops Scoops.
The advanced game. So you hold the cone.
Yeah.
You get the ice cream scoop.
Yeah.
You squeeze the scoop, and the scoop will tell you how many scoops you have to put on before you either lose the game or are able to pass the cone on to someone.
So the
else.
idea is you add these plastic scoops of ice cream, it becomes harder. You got to balance them. It's harder and harder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then if you shake the cone, it's even worse.
Well, the thing is, the cone is shaking for you. It's battery operated. Unbelievably.
Okay.
I actually did very well with this. I got like 5 scoops on, even though my cone was vibrating.
When people come to your house, do you say, okay, who wants to play Oops Scoops? Who wants to play Pie in the Face? Who wants to play Watermelon?
Basketball head.
You just have all these games lined up.
I do. I just open my closet and say, pick a game.
Parties must be so much fun at Disneyland. You got the disco ball fired up, I see. I think it's Myra Joyce's birthday today. Is that?
It is her birthday today.
Are you doing anything special for Myra?
Getting her out of here in about a half hour.
Myra, happy birthday.
Thank you, Leo.
Oh, Myra is a hanger-on?
A professional hanger-on.
A groupie? I don't know. She just comes by.
A professional groupie. There you go.
Does she? Now, let me ask this, because I see her there every week during the show. Does she only come by during the show, or does she come by at other times?
Oh, no, just during the show. Who wants her at other times?
Well, give her some
Myra
slime.
says the only time there's food is when the show
she comes because Dennis caters. That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we know why. You can find all 3 of these lovely toys from Toy Fair. Dick does the hard work. going to things like Toy Fair so that he can bring you this great stuff at his website. It's gizwiz.biz. Don't forget, while you're there, there's also the What the Heck Is It game, a chance for you to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine by identifying a close-up picture of some gizmo or gadget. Now, we just started the new one in May, so you'll have all of May and June.
Correct.
And July 1st will take a winner. So I should explain that it is not really a contest of skill.
No way.
No. It is more just a contest of, whatever Dick's in the mood for.
Silliness.
So as many as 6 autographed Mads for the right answer, as few as 12 autographed Mads for the best silly answer. Gizwiz.biz. And I forgot to mention it last week, but Dick does a great podcast every week with Chad Johnson called The Gizwiz, oddly enough. And you can find it at gizwiz.tv.
I think you came up with that idea.
Yeah, it was clever, wasn't
I said, Leo, what can I call the Gizwiz show? And you said, hey, how about the Gizwiz show? I said, oh, my, Leo, how did you come up with that?
I'm a genius. What can I say?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, buddy, take care.
Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.